Hi, Tasha. So, can you tell me what company you work for and what your role is in the supply chain?
Yes, I work for the AAM Corporation here at the Paris plant. In my role in supply chain, I do materials, inventory, scheduling, and logistics here.
Okay then. And how many parts does this company produce for how many different vendors?
For overall AAM for this plant, and we have the Fort Smith and the Subiaco plant, there's probably around 300 parts altogether. In this particular plant, we have about 60 parts. With that being said, probably only about half of them are high volume, the other are low volume service aftermarket. So, and this plant is it's actually scheduled to close next year. So some of those parts have been moved to other plants already, but about 300 total within our Arkansas plants here.
Oh wow, that's a lot.
Yeah, and for the different companies, that would be, we have 64 active customers in our system, but just kind of reviewing over them, probably only about 50 of them that we're actually shipping to now. Some, they're active still, but we haven't shipped to them in quite a while. So.
And what some of those companies?
Ford, GM, Nissan. We ship to Magna, which does like the Audi parts. Got me off track there. Borg Warner, EWAS.
So you ship to the major,
We do.
some of the majors.
We do. You know, years ago it used to be more, pretty much all our eggs were in the Ford and GM basket, but that's really changed over the last 10, 15 years. We do a lot of business, I said, with Magna, which is one of our bigger customers, and they have a lot of cars actually that are overseas now, which a lot of them in the U.S. too, but we do a lot of business with them.
Oh, okay. So how do you organize and keep track of your inventory?
So we have a pretty nice ERP system. It's called Plex that we use. So it's any inventory or raw materials are put into the system when we receive the raw materials, and then we schedule jobs, and that material is depleted on throughout until it's a finished piece. So I can show you that here in a little bit, but it's a fairly new system. We've had it, I think, about 4 years.
Oh wow. So is it hard to keep track of the items coming in and going out since you produce so many?
It's really not that hard as long as everyone uses the system. You know, of course, when you have someone that records bad information or doesn't report where they scrap parts, then that creates a problem. But we do like periodic audits. We have every month we have certain parts that are scheduled to be cycle counted. So over the course of a year, we've covered everything usually 2 or 3 times. And then we have our annual inventory. But if the system's used, it works well.
So pretty much if everybody does their part.
If everybody does their job, it works. Yes.
So if you had to change one thing with this supply chain, what would it be and why?
The visibility of my incoming materials. Sometimes that's hard to see. I mean, I know that my supplier has shipped them, but the visibility with the logistics part of it, the carrier, to see
so
where's
from the
it
time
at.
it leaves their plant to the time it gets here, you wish you could have better.
Yeah, I wish and I know there's systems out there that some freight lines use. You know, C.H. Robertson has been trying to work on. They have I think it's called Navisphere that they've been working on. It's supposed to give you more real-time data, but I haven't really seen it. And, it's not, I guess, perfected with them. We haven't got to use it much, but just there's many times, that's probably the thing every week, that if I go to like, okay, I knew something was due today or due this week, okay, where is it? Well, they've shipped it, but okay, now we gotta go ask, can you give us a tracking number? And then we'll look it up. And sometimes you can find it, sometimes you can't. Sometimes you're just waiting to see if the truck brings it or not.
They don't give you tracking numbers for the shipments coming in?
Not unless you ask. Well, some do and some don't.
Some do. Depends on the vendor.
Yes, depends on the vendor. Like we have powdered metal at Subiaco, and those companies actually it's set up very well with them. They have EDI coming into our ERP system Plex, so we can see that they've shipped it in our system without asking. But it's just a matter of, okay, we know it's supposed to be here 2 days. If it doesn't show up, then you have to track it down with the truck line. But then I have other materials, smaller volume. Usually my materials that I order are smaller volume, that they don't send you a tracking number, even though it's something that we have tried to, you know, put that in place and say this is what has to happen. It doesn't. They're just so small volume that I don't think they really care at that point if they're doing it or not.
That's understandable. So this wasn't on the question sheet, but do you control the supply chain for this plant and Subiaco?
No, I used to work over all 3 plants, but when they have done some changes, actually when AEM come in and kind of split us up, I was just given Subiaco at that point.
Oh, so you're running Subiaco out of the Paris plant?
I'm sorry, Paris.
Oh, Paris. Okay.
I've been both places, but I was at Subiaco with my originals, where most of the time I spent at Subiaco, and then I was put over Subiaco Paris and Kitty, and now I'm in Paris.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess it's time, can you walk me through how to track your inventory and enter and change data?
Yes. This is just one particular part. You know, pulled up, this is what we call a high feature auger, one of our larger volume parts.
Okay.
This will tell me where it's at in the steps. It starts at the bar acme, CNC turn, and that goes all the way down through final audit. I should back up where I can show you where we receive. So we can go in, if it's a purchase component, we go in, we can key all the data in. We have the option if we do get EDI, which some of it we do. If it's powder at Subiaco, or if it's any product coming from Subiaco to us, because we do some interplant transfers, it would show up here. There's nothing here right now, but if there was something coming to us at Subiaco, like Preston centered, it was given to us to machine, it would show up. It would show up here. I don't think I can pull, you know, because there's nothing active there for me to show you there, but we were going to go in and receive, you know, there's a screen that you put in your order number, your heat number, your lot number, and that'll get it into our system. Here's, I'm going to show you some history, like what was received.
So when y'all receive something, you have to manually input it into your system?
Some of it we manually input in. If they have the ability to send us EDI, all we have to do is go in. It's already loaded. We just have to check, finalize it, say yes, because it'll say I'm sending you 200 feet of steel or 5,000 pounds of powder, and you just check mark it and say you agree. Now, if you, upon receipt, find that, oh, that's not 5,000 pounds, it's only 4,000 pounds, then we go in and change that to 4,000 before we finalize it and enter it into our system. This is like, you know, some records for the whole month that shows where this is steel. This is like a casting we get, some more types of casting steel. This is a bushing, but everything that we've received is on our receiving history. And then, so once it's received in, you can issue it to the job, just like the inventory we were looking at. We go in and the operators out there have job numbers they run on.
Yeah. So
they're on this job, and it'll say it takes X, you know, two feet of steel, or which is, you know, probably not right, but whatever it takes.
So do you prefer when the companies have the same system and can automatically generate
Oh yeah,
data?
it's awesome if they have, and they don't have to have Plex necessarily. Plex is, if they have Plex, it's very simple to link up.
Yeah.
But they don't have to have Plex, they just have to have a compatible ERP system that can be linked into ours.
Oh, okay.
And some of them, and if they have them, you know, they will do it, but some of the companies, again, they're just not big enough to invest in those types of systems.
That's a costly system.
Yeah, so they want to do it, you know, manually. We still have, you know, kind of off the subject of this inventory, but even the customer orders that come in. Customer orders come in EDI.
Oh, okay.
To most people, most of them, but we still got a few customers that are old school that they send you a hard copy of a PO. You know, we have to go in and put that in. You know, so I mean, it seems as we go on, you know, more companies are getting on board with systems like this. But when it ships, then it's the end of the day. So we make all these parts, and then we can go in also, and we can run a report that shows us what we've shipped for the day.
Do you ship every single day?
We do. Which we are shipping to Fort Smith, because we're not from the Paris plant, there's no direct pickups that go to the customer. We put it on a truck, Scranton Truck Lines that hauls it to Fort Smith, and our shipping warehouse is in Fort Smith.
Oh, okay.
And they are the ones that are taking all the shipments and sending them out to the individual customers.
Oh, okay.
So, but it shows like OEM Kitting is what we call Fort Smith. We've sent all,
Those today?
yeah, which is actually the other plant. I'm in Subiaco, we go to Paris, but they send more out than we do. I got another plant there, right? Okay, so we haven't sent near as much from this plant.
Mhm.
It's much lower volume going through our plant right now, but we send to OEM Kitting. Sometimes we have the aftermarket building that we send to, that's starting to dwindle down at the end of the year because we pretty much finished everything until we actually change over, because their aftermarket's gonna be separated from this company at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
But sometimes we'll show shipments there, we just haven't had any today. It'll show you, and then once those are shipped, it's depleted that raw material from the beginning. The first operation depletes your raw material, and then each operation, since they scan in, let me just draw a shot. It's an old tag, but tags look like, this is not ours. I'm gonna show you, actually, I have to put it under the paper here. I just tossed a tag in here this morning, right here. This is what our tags look like.
Oh, okay.
So they have barcodes. So when those operators and forklift drivers, they'll scan it, and if it changes the location of the plant, it'll upload the system by just scanning it. When they do their production, they go in the computer and put, I made 100 more parts on this container that they've scanned in, so that's how it tracks it through the
Oh,
barcodes.
okay.
Yeah.
It's pretty handy.
Yeah, so it's a good system. I said, if everyone uses it, which with anything, you've gotta use it to make it right, so.
All right, then. Well, I appreciate you taking the
Okay.
time to see me today.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Actually, I hope you do well on this.
Thanks, me too.